Good morning. It is Sunday morning, and I am getting ready to go do some Home Depot therapy because yesterday evening I went out, and as my gut was telling me, I saw an ant. Now, it was a bigger one, it wasn't the little tiny ones. But if I'm not mistaken, it's probably the one that they send out, like, can you go look to see what kind of food is out there? And it was right near the Black Eyed Peas, just like last year. And we ain't playing no games. So we got to go do that and some other things. But before I do, because I'm actually going to take y'all to Home Depot with me. People at Home Depot probably going to be like, what is she doing? I'm doing a video at Home Depot. So I'm getting ready to make myself real nervous and anxious because I'm going to be at Home Depot doing a video. Anywho, I woke up and came in here. What I thought might have been a wildflower seedling. It's dead. These marigold seedlings are getting leggy. I think I have a wildflower or something growing in one of these little cups. Not 100% sure what it is. And I saw a fungus gnat. So I'll take it outside. So we're going to see what happens. So let me turn the camera around so y'all can see what I'm talking about. I have not watered these, so this is just, they've been getting watered from condensation. That feels a little dry. But anyway, what I thought was a wildflower seedling right there, it's dead. It could have been one. I don't know. Then over here, these, see that gnat? I can't do it. I can't add that to my office. Alright, so marigolds are leggy. I think that might be a wildflower growing. I don't know what that is. That looks like something's growing. But anyway, they can't stay in here. And the milkweed is getting leggy too. This little situation is happening with that one. So I gotta go outside. All right. My love in the mist, it acts like it wants to germinate. Well, it is germinating, but I don't know if the cup is just getting too or what, but it has not moved beyond that. Now I need to be patient because I don't know if y'all can see where my fingertip is, but it's germinating and it looks like the seed cap is just still on the top. I'm trying to be patient. But the good news is 3 out of the 4 are germinating. These are not as leggy. Something happened with this one here. That is that's a marigold seedling too, but it didn't quite make it out the soil. So we got that going on. So yeah. So I'm going to take those outside. Let me check the time. 7:56. I definitely gotta go open up the greenhouse because it's hot. It's a little cloudy right now. So I think I might be okay for a little bit, but I definitely should go open it up before I run to the greenhouse. So I'm gonna do that and head to Home Depot. All right, so this is a test. I have some earbuds in. I did a video yesterday and I put it on YouTube and I took it back down because quite frankly I felt like it was really ghetto. The audio was bad. There was a whole lot of background noise. I mean, down to the point you could hear me trying to move my cell phone pillow around and I couldn't take it. So I'm trying to clear out the noise in it. But the software that I use cleared out all the noise, and I don't know how I feel about that. But I have a pretty big voice, and so I'm trying to not talk loud. And so I think my earbuds just shut off. I can hear them in my ears saying power off. But I try not to talk loud because I got a pretty big voice. But in my effort to try to not talk loud, airplanes, air conditioner, stuff like that. Real stuff. We're trying to start a YouTube video. But you have to come out in the morning and deal with this stuff. So, hopefully none of that is going on right now. But if it is, it just is. All right, so enough of that. The greenhouse is open. It's a little muggy in here as usual. The fans are on. The geothermal fans have not kicked on yet. But I put that fan in front of the door. My door is facing north. So the door of the greenhouse is facing north. Because, again, studying wind, temperatures, things like that. When wind blows from the north, it tends to be cooler. Because the sun does not move north. The sun rises east, moves south, and sets west. So if you're going to get a greenhouse, you have to understand your climate and the sun. For me here in Arizona, it is not beneficial for me to have my door facing south or west. Learned that last year. Everything in here baked. So I don't have ventilation there yet. And as I said yesterday, I'm intimidated by cutting in my panel and putting a ventilation fan in there. Because if I mess it up, I'm not going to be able to replace that panel. So that's why I'm nervous. I am going to take this ghetto-ness down today. It's not really doing anything. It's the same flies that have been on there. So there's that. Check here with what we sold. That is pretty moist. I bought them outside. Let me take this clip out. Put it over there. This is all of the dehydrated banana peels and dehydrated orange peels that I had that I'm going to grind down with those eggshells today and amend some soil to feed. So yeah, I'll put this in my pocket. So just in case I have to pollinate, I can. So we're still going to go to Home Depot, but I got out here. So I'm like, well, let's just do a check. And that way, if I feel like I need something else at Home Depot, I can get it. So green beans are getting big. This one still hasn't given me anything just yet, but that's okay. It'll get there. That basil is looking a little bigger. My beets are back to standing up. This garlic and this one, they're leaning because of the way runt was down on them. I did notice that stem on runt yesterday, the leaves were just going, so I went ahead and just chopped that stem off and let him just put more energy right there. There is this smaller stalk. It's still a base stalk, but it's a smaller stalk. And I'm so glad I see this, because I was talking to my husband last night, making dinner, and I said to him, I bought greens from the store and you have to wash them really good. I see what would not be dirt. These little whitish, brownish, grayish, what I thought was, bitch, child, that is bugs. Wash y'all greens really good when you get them from the store. So there's that. As you see, I got water coming into that container, so I can have water ready to water. I was just over here grabbing the water container and I saw 1 or 2 ants. And I thought I gotta start paying attention to my gut. Because this area, the greenhouse that I had last year, the little pop-up one, this is the west facing side of the greenhouse. It was a door right here. And they had a little trail that would come from the tree over here. So I'm not surprised that I'm seeing them here. Yeah, and I even see one now. Let me see if I can get down in there. But it was just in this vicinity. And so basically what they're doing right now is they are looking for where they can find their food source. So I'm gonna come cut this off. Alright, so my morning check is gonna be a little bit delayed because I gotta get to Home Depot. I thought it was gonna be cloudy. The sun is starting to come up. And yesterday, as you see, the dichotomous surface right here, but I saw the ant here. That's just dried, and I didn't say that right, diatomaceous earth. And then it crawled over in that vicinity, and I sprinkled diatomaceous earth there and it died. So most likely what they're doing is they're burrowing. I am seeing the presence of a lot of flying small bugs, so this will help with them as well. But yeah, a pile on the ground, and if you can see, maybe not, but there are gnats kind of flying around right here, and they won't hit the ground, so because they know that's down there, so they're like, we don't like this. But that just looks ghetto to have white powder everywhere, so gonna need to figure some things out. The Alpha B8 seedling that was still leggy, I put it in that pot yesterday. Harvested potatoes yesterday. I told y'all I get curious. Once I see potatoes, I'm like, I'm going for it. But that bag, I started it in December. It is now April. So it was time. That cuke that I hand pollinated yesterday looks like it might become a cucumber. And the way I know is that it's kind of swelling there, but we'll see. I pinched that male off that I used to pollinate yesterday. We're gonna make this check quick. If you see, I'm getting in there. There we go. Another female. That tendril on that cucumber, finally it grabbed. Let's check under here. So those are bugs. And this is all normal. So yeah. And again, very quick check. I did also the calendula. Yesterday. There. Also put some more garlic down. So, let's put them this way. I did go ahead and put a cantaloupe seed in there, and that is really dry. So I'm gonna have to put some water on that. I am almost certain that I'm going to separate these 4 lemongrass plants in this pot and sow them in this vicinity, because I'm going to take my table in the greenhouse and the chairs out and put them right there. And when I come out and sit, I don't want bugs getting to me. That does not look like it's gonna do anything. It looks exactly the same, which is as I suspected, because there was no male flowers to pollinate those. So take them off. You do not want that plant thinking that it wants to produce fruit there and put energy there. You want it to put energy where it needs to go. So let's see on this one. Still good. Some bug presence, but okay. I am gonna have to get back there today because I need to get that netting off the ground and follow my gut, because I think I'm gonna have a bug situation, if not already starting. Tomato seedlings are still doing okay, and the same thing here. I put some calendula, and this, again, according to my research, is supposed to deter ants. We are going to find out. The watermelon, it's doing what it's supposed to do. That one's gonna probably need a little help. But if you see, that tendril looks like it wants to try to grab. So we'll see. Alright, so what else happened yesterday? Can you tell something's missing? The potato plant, it got yanked yesterday. More squash blossoms, which is good. There's like 3 in the house, so I'm gonna harvest those in a little bit. Along with these, because we can eat them. Alright, so let's go hang out at Home Depot. Alright, so one thing I did forget to mention that I have to now make sure I keep it in my morning routine is I have to make sure that I keep the ground around the outside of the greenhouse wet. And I forgot about this when I did my research before digging a trench for the geothermal tube. So part of the reason why I was getting that 20-degree climb and the air from the tube was not getting as cool is because I have clay soil. The surface level of the ground, the temperature fluctuates with the heat. So when the sun is rising, you get these fluctuations in temperature. And so if that heat is sitting down there and you have that thermal mass building up, the ground is getting hotter. And so if it's 100 degrees outside and you got thermal mass building up from the soil getting hot and the gravel getting hot, you got about 110, 120 degrees on the surface level of the ground, and that heat rises and the greenhouse is naturally hot. I didn't remember this, but we had to have our air conditioner serviced yesterday, and the technician and I were having a nerdy moment where we were talking about heating, cooling, and things like that. And in the conversation, we were talking about how around the ground of the air conditioner, how it gets too hot, and he just basically told my husband, you want to kind of make sure that you, every now and again, maybe once a week, go and mist around the unit to keep the ground cooler. And I was like, oh snap, I forgot about that, and I had stopped doing it. So now that we're getting hotter every morning, I now have to come out and make sure that I wet. So see the difference in my gravel? That's dry gravel. That I wet around here. And I forgot that I was like coming down out and I was spraying down the greenhouse to keep it clean, because we get wind and a lot of dirt here in the desert area. Keeping it clean. And that was keeping it cooler. So yesterday, right around the time that it was getting ridiculously hot outside, this is what I was coming out doing. And then I just took the water hose to spray the greenhouse down. So remember, my trench goes all the way around my greenhouse. And guess what, y'all? The temperature evens back out. It was back to that point of the same temperature that it was outside, it was inside. That 20-degree difference was gone. There is no tubing on this west side, but there is a trench down there that I dug, that I'm most likely going to dig back out when it cools off, and put tubing down there and some fans. But this is also where heat really builds, because remember, the sun rises east and moves south. And right now, it is southeast, and it'll keep moving until it moves west. And so, I know that people connected to me are interested in building greenhouses. Now, that may not be applicable to you and where you at, so do your research. Do your research. Because in addition to that, greenhouses are humid, so they are prone to fungus and bugs and things. So do your research. Take your time. Don't just jump out and be doing stuff. My greenhouse cost me about $400 the kit. I want to say that I've probably put somewhere around maybe $500-600 of money into it. But there is a big fancy one. Sorry, I'll be digging in my eyes on a video. My allergies and sinuses are starting to drain, so I usually get crusty eyes. That was tangential, but there's this fancy one that I want. It's so nice. So nice, and my husband brought it up yesterday. Maybe in a couple years we go ahead and do that. And I want him to know that I would take care of that investment. So that's why I put a lot of effort. I'm getting these nasty fly things up because I'm just tired of seeing them, and it's ghetto looking. But I want him to have trust in me. That's how we started. He got me one plant, and he said, okay, if you can take care of that for a month, make it live, then we can start a small garden. And we did. And that garden got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I actually got, like, Google will give you a little, like, here's a memory of how my garden started 2 years ago. So start small, do your research. All right. Now I'm going to Home Depot. All right, I am at Home Depot and it is very busy. So I had to try to find a spot where people are not around. And my spot that I have right now won't last too long. But I'm going to actually test this seed starter out. Back to Roots is one of my favorite brands, so I'm going to try it. But this is the one that I normally use to start seeds. I bought 2 bags because what I think I'm going to do is mix at least one of these bags with DE, some cinnamon and cayenne to sprinkle on top of the beds after I feed them to mitigate some of the bugs. This is the ant control stuff that I put on the ground. Our pest control company was using it at the old house and it was really effective, and it was never put near the plants, just around the garden area, and it controlled them pretty good, and so it's been working so far. I am going to try those bait stakes as well. I'm just not 100% sure where I'm going to put them, but at least then the chemicals are not going in the soil, but go somewhere. I had been doing some reading before on BT, and I'm pretty sure this is very safe to use on plants for caterpillars, but I'm still researching, so it's in a basket, but I'm not 100% I'm buying it. This is the watering sticks that I was talking about. They come in different depths. This is the 8-inch one. I bought 6 more because my irrigation is going to go in that. So when I get back to the house, I'm going to install them so you can see how I'm doing it. Also, too, while I'm here, Garden Time mushroom compost and Omni, which I do believe is pure Arizona, comes from Tempe, are my 2 starters that I use. So now I'm gonna go play around and see if I can find some flowers or herbs and not get weird and have people in my video. My joy, rosemary, $3.33. Yes, I'm grabbing some. Alright, so I found some oregano and some rosemary for $3.33. These are not organic. We will not be eating them. I am just doing this solely for pest control. And I found some marigolds, because you can never go wrong with having marigolds everywhere. They pretty much can complement anything. So I feel pretty content with my Home Depot therapy. The man is awake. He just called. So I'm going to get myself back home. But I'm happy. And again, we won't be eating any of this. Nope, purely pest control. Alright, so Home Depot is out of control today, as it usually is on a Sunday. And people are rude, and I could tell I was starting to lose my patience. But I did decide to go ahead and purchase the BT. Again, most of the reading that I've done on it, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine to use. It is non-toxic to humans, but I have such a caterpillar moth issue that I didn't feel like I should try to leave without something. So I am packing my items into the car. Now, I will do some more reading on that BT. Talk more about it at a later time. just so I'm doing something to help folks. I'm gonna get the car packed up, and then I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, like I said, so I'll be back in a second. Car is packed up, but BT, I've been reading on it for a couple years now. I just never purchased it. It is a naturally occurring substance. It is short for most likely some sort of bacterial, like anti-bug thing. Hey, Juju. Yeah. The Juju Exchange, one of my favorite jazz bands out of Chicago. Love them. But as I was saying, it is most likely a natural bacteria that naturally occurs just by the way the name is structured. I'm going to continue to say BT for right now until I learn how to pronounce it. But I bought it. It was only $15. If I end up not using it, I don't think I would feel bad that I lost like $15. But I'm not going to put it on everything today. I'm going to do some reading. I'm going to probably heavily dilute it to start out, and then just kind of go from there, and I'll talk more about it. But I'm going to do some more research and reading first. But what I did see is that it's non-toxic to humans, it's non-toxic to animals, but certain bugs, it just kills them off. Caterpillars, and other things, which I am starting to see and probably going to have more of. So I'm having this moment in the car to stop and talk. I should have followed my gut. Like 2 weeks ago, my gut was like, you need to get prepared. You need to get prepared. And I just kept talking about it, kept talking about it, and not doing anything. And now I'm kind of reacting. Which happens in gardening. For my first year, man, I was reacting to everything. I stressed myself out. I stressed my husband out. Like, I was so stressed. So I'm literally sitting here right now. I'm looking. The wind is picking up. We get what's called monsoon around July. The greenhouse is pretty stable in terms of keeping it anchored. It has done pretty well in 20-25 mile per hour winds. But monsoon, it can pick up a whole tree, roots and all. Just 40, 50, 60 mile per hour winds. So my gut is telling me to get ready. Monsoon is not till July, late June for us, and it's only April, and we've had a lot of wind. I'm talking loud. The house we were in before, we were not as close to the mountains that we are now, and I'm coming to realize we get a lot more wind near the mountains. So I'm gonna go home, feed the man, because he is awake. I thought he was still asleep when I left, so I didn't say nothing. He called me like, "Where's you at?" I didn't know you was gone. It was loving, but he woke now, and I need to get stuff done. So I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna feed him, I'm gonna nerd out, watch some stuff on BT so I can try to understand it. And then I think I'm also today, I was walking through Home Depot and this hit my brain. I'm actually going to take those 2 rosemary that I purchased from Sprouts, the grocery store that we typically go to. I'm probably going to take them out of the pot that they are in, and I'm going to rinse those roots down really, really good and repot them. I suspect that there may be a root ball there that I need to take care of, and it just needs some better soil, and it's just been in that pot that they came in. So I think they're outgrowing that. And if they die, okay. I know y'all probably like, she always talk about if something died. Okay, but that's what happens. That's how you learn. So I'm probably going to do that too. So I'm hoping today's video is not as long and each little snippet does not get too tangential like I'm doing right now. But I'm going home and I'll see y'all in a little bit. Alright, last tangent run and snippet. Stopped at Fry's. Got some cayenne. Some cinnamon. And baking soda. Noticed that the squash plants, has some powdery mildew too, so gonna make a baking soda solution for that. I'll show you that later. Alright, now I'm going home. Alright, so back home, hydrated, fed, the man is fed. Spent some time in the kitchen and some nerd time as I would have hoped, and looked up the research and watched some videos on BT, and it is actually safe. The brand that I got was really good because it has the OMRI certification on it. There are different types of BT, and the one that I got only takes care of certain bugs. So in a little bit, when I go and make the mixture, I will talk about that a little bit more. And the good news is that I can put it in with the liquid food that I'm going to give them today. And so that kind of kills two birds with one stone. But for right now, garden steaks. They come like this. And again, this is the 8-inch one. Okay, they come like this, and you take that cap off. My irrigation that is right here, you take the steak, push it down into the ground, and I'm okay with pushing down right here because there is no plant right there. And then my irrigation will lay itself in there, and I probably should have made that a little closer so I don't have to pull on my irrigation. The tubing is kind of buried down in there a certain way. I had this irrigation put in last year when I had my pop-up greenhouse, and so this is the reason why I only have one bed over here, because this is where I get water. See how the irrigation just stops there? Right now I have it twisted down where it doesn't get, let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, I can. Now, this might not be the greatest, but if you see here, there is no space between that tubing, this little piece right here, and that. And I have it twisted because I wanted to limit the amount of water that was coming out of it. So, I'm untwisting it so more water comes out. So you should be able to see now there's some space in there, and I'm doing it because I want the water to just go down in there. And so right here, this little space that they put in there, I'll make that smaller. You just take it and you put it over like that. And what happens is now is when the irrigation system turns on, water is not spraying up on my plants. That is preventing soil from splashing up on the leaves, which causes a lot of disease. And that water really goes down to the roots. I have put a lot of trust in my irrigation system in this bed. Nothing really seems to be struggling. And it's relatively moist. So I'm not even an inch in, and it's moist. So like I said, the irrigation runs twice a day, 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. So I have 2 more, or I think 1 more in this bed. 1 more. right there that I need to put in. But these are beets, and beets are root vegetables. So I don't want this steak to be too close, but my edges of my beds don't get a lot of water. So I'm going to take a steak and probably go about right there. So again, I don't want the steak too close to the beets. So I'm gonna get the rest of the steaks put in and then move over to show y'all how I have begun to move things out of the greenhouse and into that space over there and starting to get things cleaned up. And today will be a gardening and grading day. So I'm gonna spend 20 minutes doing this, and then I'll pause and hydrate and sit outside and drink water. This is one of the ways I recharge on Sundays. I will most likely be listening to scripture in my ears or a sermon of sorts. And that is my time to be with God, but that's right here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put it right here. Got the nasturtiums right here. There's plenty of space right there. So I think I'm just gonna go right there. Alright. Alright, so it is 1:20 p.m. The sun is peeking through the clouds. Our high today is supposed to be 93. It is about 90 degrees outside. And close to 100 in the greenhouse. So about a 7-degree temperature difference, but not 20 degrees. That fan is on the ground, blowing in. I have moved the solar panels, and if you notice, the table is not in here anymore. I mentioned it to Hubs yesterday. I'm moving it out because I can't sit in here. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Some bananas from bananas that we ate and used today, and then one peel. Banana peel, sorry. One peel is probably like a few days old. Hubs kind of knows now to just sit them up on the counter, but he cannot stand it if too many banana peels are in one spot. So I have to use them quickly. So those will become tea here shortly. Alright, so right now that's just a storage spot, but I do know I'm going to put something right there. And because this is a corner area, something that's going to need some stability. So that might be where the cherry tomatoes go. Don't know yet. Alright, so I'm okay now. Fans are going. Panels are down. This one is being shaded a little bit by that pot. There we go. Now I hear it. Like they have to have sun. But I am happy. It was a little cloudy earlier today, so that gave the motors on the fans a break. So right now, this is a mess, but this is where I'm going to be at for the next 10 minutes before I pause to grade. So stay tuned, because that won't look like it looked. Well, look like it looks now. Trying to manage my time, so videoing slows me down. Those are the rosemary plants that I'm getting ready to re-soil, and as I suspected, just roots aren't going anywhere, but the soil is moist. The plants were in those pots in here, and it had plastic in it, and there's a bunch of bugs down there. Don't know if they're beneficial or not, but I like these pots. That was part of the reason why I bought them. Pull the plastic out. It's going in the trash, and we're going to repot. Most likely putting them right back in that. But I'm going to rinse all that down and give it some new soil and some food. Alright, so I got some water. I'm gonna be a little rough here. Notice how not a whole lot of dirt is coming off the roots of that plant. Draining pretty good. These roots are pretty protected. Because once it gets a little fuller, I'm gonna be rough with that plant and shake it around in that water. See that? That's what I want. Loosen up a little bit. Those roots need some air. One goal accomplished. They've been transplanted. I decided not to put them back in their pots. I was pretty rough with them too, on purpose. So I want to see what happens. All of that dead rosemary, I just chucked it off to the side. It was way more than that. Like, I made a big mess. But I'm letting them kick it in the shade for a little bit instead of putting them straight out. They seem pretty happy today, but I'll put them back in their spot where they were when the sun goes down. But mission accomplished. So my gut was right. More than one spider was here. One is covered in diatomaceous earth right now, and when I went to move things around, such as the bug netting that was kind of laid out on the ground there, large amounts of small crawling bugs, but he is covered in diatomaceous earth, so I'm gonna try to get close. But it is really a brown spider covered in DE. He has a buddy that went over there somewhere. See how I was trying to get him? Just splats of DE all over the wall. But yeah, so my gut was right. And I'm over here a lot, so I cannot be playing around with possibly poisonous spiders. So, yep. So, in the process of eliminating all potential spider hideouts, there's the other one, or maybe a different one. But anywho, we not about to play around. There it is. Yeah, it looks like it's the one. I got a little DE on, so it's the same one. But you gotta go, homie. You gotta go. And then there was the second one that I got covered in more DE, right around the same location, so maybe it was a pair. But I'm on a hunt. They got to go. Alright, it's after 6 p.m. All of my goals were not met. I didn't get a chance to feed because it took me like 45 minutes to separate those lemongrass plants and get them potted. But the sun is officially setting. It is a little over 80 degrees in the greenhouse. The windows are shut. So I'm shutting it down for the night. I I did get a chance to do the baking soda solution to try to deal with my mildew issue on the squash. Got lemongrass and rosemary successfully transplanted, so let's see how they do through the night, but they already look happier. Like already. But one lemongrass. The start of my little sitting potting spot that if my husband looked out the window, he'd be happy with. 2 lemongrass. Also discovered that I don't just have 2 spiders, I got a bunch of spiders. They're everywhere, but they run, so there's that. 3 lemongrass. They must be out here taking care of some bug. Or 2 or 3 or 4. But everything got misted a little bit. And everything is happy. Jungle in that front bed. So garden life is good. It is so good. Full day of dirt play on a Sunday. That's how I want to spend my Sundays. This week, I'll try to make sure I get everything done. So I do that guilt-free, but I did not get in front of my laptop today. And I got so much grading to do. But it'll get done. It will get done. Evening check. I moved the strawberry bag right here. Don't know if I'm gonna keep it there, but that was the spot it made it to for now. But I got plenty of dirt play waiting on me. All right. A little bit of day and a little bit of space. I know this looks like a big space, but it's not. It's not. From that wall to right here, it's only about 13 feet. From this little corner right here to that wall, it's only about 10 feet. Right here, from there, this corner to that wall, that's only about 5-6 feet. Down there is only about 5 or 6 feet, so you don't need a lot of space. But now I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm gonna get like a big umbrella or something. And have it be my little seating spot. Like, looking forward to it. Those won't stay up there. But last year I did end up moving some strawberries towards this part of the yard. Those 2 actually. So they can survive the heat. So we'll see. The garden life is good. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm sweaty, shiny. Garden life is good. Go play in the dirt.